Hey everybody, I'm super excited. It's day one of the challenge. We're rocking and rolling. Today I want to take a minute and talk about body measurements, why they're important, and how we can track our progress in different ways. So the first thing I want to go over is that the scale does not define you. So don't let it. It is definitely one measurement that can help you track how you're doing, but it is not the be-all, do-all. It can be very misleading and very upsetting. So that's why we're going to go over why we do all these other ways of tracking and why they're important and how are they going to help us. So the first one is pictures. So most of you have turned in your before pictures, which is great. If you haven't done so yet, please do so. Pictures are really, really amazing because you can see with your own two eyes the changes that you have made in your body. Are you standing up taller? Have you lost inches around your waist? Can you see a difference? Are your muscles more defined? Those are all things that we can see, and when we can see it, we can believe it. So pictures are very important, and that's why we turn those in. The next area we track with are those physical measurements. You took the measuring tape out, you had to go around, you had to face the facts. So great for doing that. Sometimes it's kind of depressing when you see them in the beginning, you're like, oh, and sometimes you're like, I don't really care, I don't know what this has to do with. But either way, measurements are really a good indicator of where you're at. A lot of medical fields and professionals use something called the waist to hip ratio to determine how healthy someone is. They even use it to determine obesity now in a lot of different fields, especially in MD practices. So what it is that you take that waist measurement and you divide it by the hip, and that number, if you're a woman, you want it to be under 0.8, and if you're a man, you want it to be under 0.9. The studies they've done say that if you're above those in either male or female category, that you're considered obese, your fertility rates are low, it's going to be harder to conceive a child, your chances of having cardiovascular disease are up. So you really want to look at that number and listen to it, and don't get upset over it, but just think it's something you can change. You have all the power over it. So those measurements, one thing with measurements is you can lose a ton of inches and go up in weight. Muscle weighs more than fat. You've heard it a million times. You may find that out in living proof in your own body as you're doing this. So we had pictures are one way we're going to be doing it. Measurements that we took, we're going to do them week 1, week 3, week 6, all of these. And then the other ways you can do it, which I'm not requiring people to do, but I think it's a very strong look at how your body is actually doing. And I suggest people do blood work. Most insurances will allow you to do your blood work every 90 days. I really like if you can find a doctor that uses Boston Heart Labs. It's completely 100% covered and reimbursed by insurance, and you can get a full panel, and it can tell you really super cool things like what kind of foods your blood will do better with, fat like animals or more plant. It can also tell you if your body will do better with cardiovascular workouts or weights. Really cool stuff. So if you can do that, that's pretty amazing. And also if you can do a body fat test when you're there, most people that have those blood tests can do an actual body fat test. The one on our scales at home, they're not very accurate, so just keep that in mind if you're using that as a measurement. Lastly, a wellness journal. So we're tracking a lot of the stats physically. And the next way I want us all to track is mentally up here. But we're going to put it on paper to make it real. So I want everybody to get a wellness journal. I usually just buy these from Marshall's for like $2. And on the very first page, I want you to put your why. Why are you doing this? Write it out. How do you feel now? Write it out. How do you want to feel in 3 weeks and 2 days and at the end of the program? Write it all out. And that way, when you're having a bad day or things aren't going how you want, you can always look back at that. It's a really good reflecting tool, and it also help you keep on your purpose of why am I doing this? I'm doing it for my kids. I'm doing it for my husband. I want to get pregnant. Those sort of things. The other thing we're going to put in our wellness journals are, I spoke a little bit about this in the Make Wellness Work manual, but it's really important when you begin a program like this to write down how you feel after you eat the foods you eat. So you don't have to do it religiously for 6 weeks, but as you're trying new foods and going through different things, you obviously already have your meals planned, but it's going to be really helpful to write down how you feel. If you eat sweet potatoes, and sweet potatoes make you feel like you need a nap afterwards, probably don't want to eat those anymore. So it's just a really good way to track foods that your body likes and is reacting well to. The other thing that we're going to put in this wellness journal is we're going to put what we're grateful for every day. It's just a really important thing to do. It could be grateful or things that were really nice or you were successful in. Some days it seems like nothing in the world is going right and you might completely fall off your program, but maybe you can find one thing that you did to stay on the program and keep going. So each day you're going to want to write down what you were eating and things that you're grateful, happy about. So that is your wellness journal, and those are the different ways we are going to be tracking results and measurements. It's almost the day end of day numero uno. So I hope you guys are diving in, getting a lot of information. And if you have any questions at all, please don't hesitate to ask. I'm super excited. I will talk to you next time.